Welcome to another episode of the weekly GMBN Tech Show. Coming up on this week's show, we've got some really cool tech from Fort William. We've got a CO2 compatible tyre sealant, and we've got a bike cave entry from Hawaii. So first up, let's jump straight into news. And news this week is mainly coming from Fort William. Of course, the World Cup's just happened over the weekend. Blake and Neil were up there roving around the pits, and they saw quite a lot of cool stuff. And the first thing I want to draw you to is that new V10. So this is the new Santa Cruz V10 29-inch wheel downhill bike. Of course, as we know, last year the team were running a 27.5-inch front triangle with a new rear triangle and rocker situation to make the bike's 29-inch wheel compatible. And obviously spent quite a long time refining the feel of the bike and that before Santa Cruz were going to commit to making a dedicated front end. And this is it. This is way more like the production one is going to be like. It's pretty close to what it's going to be like, we've heard, and it looks a lot neater and a lot more low slung. If you look at the top tube, the way the seat tube is, it looks a lot lower in sort of standover height. Certainly better for smaller riders considering the jump up to 29-inch wheels. This particular one belongs to Loris Verger, and it's got a few cool things on it. So if you have a look at the wheels here, opposite his valves, he's got some wheel weights on there to sort of balance the offset of that valve. Now, we've heard on the production rims, there are actually some weights that are going to be used in the rim itself at the same point there. Now, although on a mountain bike, it's going to be negligible how much you're going to notice this difference, those top riders can notice the difference, especially when it's airborne. So you've obviously got quite a big wheel on the bike, on a 29-inch wheel, in windy conditions, and some of the bigger jumps on World Cup courses like Fort William. Being in the air can make quite a difference to the way the bike handles. I mean, this is something I would like to experiment with myself, just to see how this does make an effect, because the roadies have been doing it for years, and to be fair, I think they found that the difference it actually makes on the long term of things is pretty negligible. However, if it does make a difference when airborne and situations like that, then surely that is some kind of advantage. So we will come back to that at another point. But something else cool that I noticed that Loris Verger's mechanic had done to his bike is on the chainstay. So it looks like he's got some sort of 3M protection tape on there, but he's actually made a couple of fins. Now, I don't know if you remember, a few weeks back we were looking at that new Specialized stump jumper, the one that we spotted out at Sealant, and of course Jared Graves' bike check that Neil did as well. Now, that particular system has got kind of ridges on the chainstay itself, basically, and Specialized did a bunch of research to where the chain actually slaps and where it contacts. They put more material in those areas to basically dampen that chain movement down, to silence it. Now, have a look at the chainstay on Loris's bike here, and you'll see this is similar sort of concept coming in, bit of a hack. So I'm curious to see if this does make any difference, because we've definitely noticed that a lot of downhill bikes are really silent these days, and if that makes it even more silent, I'm all for it. Especially because my bike's pretty silent, but you can still get chain slap here and there, even with rubber on the chainstay. You can still hear it bashing away. So I'm keen to have a little hack and have a go at that, and I'll report back to see if it does make any difference. And just another thing on the wheel weights scenario, bear in mind on a road bike, you've got nothing else that's going to be added to those wheels that's going to make any difference. So if you're going to put a wheel weight on there to balance out the valve, so the wheels are a bit more neutral in the way that they roll, and you're not going to get that high speed sort of wobble that you can get from them, that's fine. But on a mountain bike, surely the tyres are going to be picking up mud and debris at any time. Is it really going to make that much difference? And speaking of wheel weights, yet another rider using the same sort of basic tech, we call this, is G Atherton. He also had some weights strapped onto his wheels there, looking like a bit of Gorilla Tape holding them on. And clearly G is a sort of, he's been riding bikes a long time. He's been a fan of the 29-inch wheel bike since Trek have developed one. They found it really works for his style. So if there is a difference in it, of course G is going to be using it. So I'm going to chat to G and see exactly what he made of it. But check out the paint finish on his bike. That is definitely one of the rowdier looking Treks. They've always had fairly plain paint jobs over the years for the top team race bikes, like Rachel's blue one, G's red one, even the black one he was running before. And they've always looked good, but this looks unbelievable. Earlier this year, we noticed that Aaron Gwynn was running quite an odd looking shifter on his bike. Clearly some sort of prototype by a brand or another, and from a glance, we think it might have been something like Box 1 drivetrain, or even something like an E13 shifter perhaps, because we do know that they are developing certain drivetrain elements. But on his bike at Fort William was a TRP rear derailleur and shifter combination. So TRP have definitely been whittling away behind the scenes, making their own drivetrain with Mr. Gwyn. So I think this is a really cool thing because obviously he's helped them out significantly with that brake that he's running, the Quadian brake, which is getting rave reviews everywhere. Of course, it's a very powerful downhill brake. And bearing in mind that when Gwyn signed for TRP, they had good products, but they didn't have a name to sort of push that product. And who better than him in a downhill front to actually do that? So got high hopes for their drivetrain that's going to be coming out at some point. We're going to get some more information direct from TRP. So hopefully in the next couple of shows, we'll be able to tell you more all about it. Next up on the screen is the sick Death from Above, fully custom made 180mm travel 29er titanium bike. Now this thing is something special, so it's got a multi-link back end on there. The links themselves are made from aluminium to keep them stiffer. The frame is titanium, which of course has that natural give that you can get in steel, but the titanium ride quality is very different and very unique. Now these bikes come in small through to XXL and they're fully custom geometry. So when you buy one, you get it exactly how you need for your requirements. And it's a 29-inch wheel bike, 180mm travel, and this particular one has got that Intend inverted edge fork on there. Very nice piece of German kit that. Don't know too much about it. Actually want to have a chat to the guys from Intend and take a look at that fork tech because it does look really nice. But look how long this bike is. Definitely something that I want to look more into. And of course, when you custom spec the bike, you can pick whatever you want on it, whatever shocks and stuff you want, but the bare frame itself to your requirements, £2.5 grand. And finally, in news this week is Muck Off have got a brand new tyre sealant available. This is it on the screen right now. Now, their unique selling points for their particular one are it's got an advanced latex, which is packed with antifreeze, which means it's CO2 compatible. So using CO2 cartridges, whether to seat or to repair, means it's not going to affect the sealant on the inside. The sealant will seal tears and holes up to 6mm in size, and it will not dry out or ball up. It's suitable for -20 centigrade to +50, which is a huge range there. And it's got cutting edge microfiber molecules that fill bigger holes and tears, or so they say. 140mm kit is €9.99 or €11.49. A 1 litre refill kit is £29.99 and the 5 litre workshop size, 120 quid. It looks pretty good, it's biodegradable, earth friendly, all that stuff, and it's said to be very good. So yeah, again, there's more choices turning up all the time on the market rather than just the standard ones have always been there, so definitely worth a look. Okay, so let's get involved with some bike caves. Bike caves, of course, are where all of you guys keep your bikes, we work on your bikes and all that sort of stuff. Could be the workshop, could be a shed, could be anywhere. It doesn't really matter. We want to see them. So make sure you get your bike cave entries in. Send them to the email address that's on the screen and please use that hashtag bike cave in the subject line just so we know we can find them nice and easy. So first up, we've got a great one here from Hawaii, from a place called Kapuaha. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've probably got that wrong. From Brian Ratigliano. Hi Dottie, love watching the show you put together. Great content. Here's a few pictures of my bike cave. My day job is a bike mechanic. I've been in the trade for a while, and this is my personal little bike cave at home. It's an old garden shed I've got an extension cord out to, and it's a bit of a makeshift shop stroke art studio. I've got a good selection of tools and parts I've collected over many years. Pretty messy at the moment, as you can see. Yeah, that is fairly messy, but there's a lot of stuff tucked away in there. And you're doing a clunker challenge. I think there's 15 or 20 bikes in there getting donated to people in need. Hey, that's really cool. So let's have a look at this. Oh, and whoa, there is a lot of bikes in there. Stella Artois, that's a nice beer, that. I'm quite into that, even though it's nothing to do with bikes. Wow, okay, so a couple of Specialized there I can see. Flipping out, you have got a lot of bikes. A load of old clunkers back there. Looks like you can have some fun on those things. Another Specialized. I feel like we've got a lot of Specialized actually hanging around. Loads of artwork on the wall. Oh man, I love this place. It's got like, everything's a bit used. It's got a bit of patina about it. It's good. Part work stand down the back there. Nice. Hey, that's pretty cool. I like it. It's quite rustic. Hey, that's an ace entry. Thanks, Brian. Lovely to see that. And even better to find there's someone out there in Hawaii watching us. That is so cool. I would love to visit Hawaii at some point. That's on my list of places to ride with or without a bike. So what's the riding like? Let us know. Is there any cool, good riding in Hawaii? I'd love to know. Put any video links in the description below so we can all see those together. Next up is from Lewis Barrett. This is my bike cave. It's in the kitchen of my mum's house, as the shed we has has rotted. Okay, well, yeah, that's one way to do it. I'm doing a complete overhaul of a bike I bought off a friend. New fork lowers, converting it to one by, new brakes. Wow, good for you, Lewis. That's awesome. If I was you, I wouldn't tempt fate and be doing that over that carpet. That looks like pretty brand new carpet. I would definitely put some sort of rug down or get yourself a workshop mat or something, because a bike like that is certainly going to be leaking some oil. However, it is a nice place to work on a bike, and I admire the fact that you literally have stripped everything off it. So that's really cool. And I'm guessing by the big bucket there, you're going to be cleaning stuff up and sort of renovating it a bit. Hey, that's really cool. Always good to see people tinkering with their bikes at home. Although, if they're your slippers that are on the floor there in the corner, then you should probably have a word with yourself. I'm guessing that your mum's there, so probably let you off on that front. Next up is from Jason Crowley. Here's my entry for Bike Cave. This is my beloved outbuilding in the back garden. I called it the Redoubt because as a married man with 2 kids, I've surrendered the house and now this is my last bastion. The only place on the planet that I can call my own. Yeah, hear to that. I'm an ancient historian by trade, so I spend all summer researching and writing in there. Cool, so it's your place of work as well as your bike cave. That's rad, okay. Got 2 bikes. One is my mountain bike, the Orange Crush. Definitely the best bike I've ever owned. I've had a few. I'm 48 and I've been mountain biking since I was 21. Yeah, wow, I bet you have had an archive over the years. The other is a bike I ride the most, a battered old 2014 Kona Cindercone. Oh, what a bike. I've hybridised it for my commute to work, 46 kilometres a day. That's a fairly good commute. Wish I had to ride that far to work. Be fit as a butcher's dog. The route's off-road, well done surfaces, hence the slicks. As you can probably guess, I'm a fan of hardtails, but I'm currently tempted by a YT Capra, but the kids are making it hard to save up. They can just go on like bread and water for a while. Get involved in that YT, that's what you really want to spend your money on, surely. But I'll tell you what, I am very envious of your place, because that, I can see why you spend so much time in there. That's really nicely done. Love the decking. It looks like you've got some really solid, like, almost double glazed doors on there. Nice guttering, everything about it. Really, really nice, good flooring. Mate, nice light in there as well. Sounds funny, but natural light in a bike cave is actually quite a hard thing to achieve. That's really good. Nice. It's a little bit too tidy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's really nice. It pleases me because I'm quite a tidy freak, but it looks a little bit too clean. Have you cleaned it up especially for the photos? Is that a sofa bed? I do hope that's a sofa bed for when you want to camp out when you've been naughty. Nice, awesome work. Thank you, Jason, for sending that in. I'm definitely going to take some ideas from that because that's really nice. I like the frosted glass as well, so you get the light coming in there, but no one can actually see, and that's a smart idea. I'm going to have to do something along those lines. Although I might do it in a house, so my wife can't actually see what I'm up to in there. Nice. Don't forget to get your bike cave entries into the usual address. We love seeing them. Cheers, guys. All right, guys, now it's time for Rewind, which of course is our retro section of the show. This week, we're going to take a look at a couple of your guys' bikes, but we don't always have to do that. If there's something you want to learn about, something you're curious about where it came from, how it evolved into the product you're riding today, let us know in the comments. We love telling you all this sort of stuff, and we love having to delve into the archives and pull all this stuff out again as well, because it's a nice trip down memory lane. Okay, so straight in is James, and he says, here's a few of my retro rides for you to enjoy. We regularly ride at Craters Mountain Bike Park in Taupo, New Zealand. Taupo Mountain Bike Club has Craters Classic event on the 10th of June. Hey, that's just around the corner. With a retro class this year. Nice work. Okay, so the website, we'll put that link in the description below. That's cratersclassic.co.nz. Love the channel and the show. And there's also an Instagram account to follow for some more pictures. Oh man, you've got quite a lot of stuff going on here. So are these all your bikes, or are they like members of your crew? So Trek 7000, the first one there, nice aluminium frame. XT shark fin on there, XT group set. Not period tyres, but I guess that doesn't matter because you're riding that now. Love that deep green with those purple graphics. I think the Treks of that period are quite iconic actually. Like the styling of them. They had something cool that you could buy a low-end Trek and it kind of resembled a high-end one, except it was skinnier, like the skinny steel frames, just by identifying by the numbers of them. I really like that about Trek because it didn't feel, when you were spending a minimal amount of money, that you were buying a cheap bike. It just felt like you were part of the Trek club. So that was definitely cool. Right, so we've got a Kona RR here with a set of Pace, I think they're RC36s, those ones, with the twin brace on them. We've got the 35s up here on the set with the brace on the back of the fork, but this is one that had a brace front and back. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, another angle of that same bike. It looks like you've got a USE seat post on there. I can't be sure. It might not be skinny enough. USE back in the day used to make theirs in 27.2 and provide shims. They used to get them in 350mm or 420 length. And you'd obviously just shim them out to fit your bike. Can't be sure, but the clamp design at the top does really look like one. But a lovely bike all the same. Yeah, really nice. So what's it? Oh man, Cannondale Super V. Oh, this one hasn't got a period fork on it, unfortunately. That would have had a head shock fork on there. I think one of the pepperoni ones originally. So the head shock, they did two types of fork. The pepperoni was the original sort of bended, curved blade fork. They also did one with the straight leg later on. Of course, classic single pivot design there. It's got that rearward axle path that sort of moves out and back in an arc. In this case, the pivot's really high and really far forward. So probably wouldn't have pedalled too well in all of those gears, and it looks like a Fox Out shock on that one. I can't be sure. Fairly sure that's what they had in those days. Oh, there's that Trek again. Oh, it looks even nicer from that angle. That's sort of like emerald green. That is really trick. And then another Kona. What's this one? Is that a Syndicone or is that an explosive? There's no graphic on there to tell me. Looking at the kit, I think it might be a Syndicone. A pair of RockShox silos on there. So the silo was one of the first forks that had adjustable travel, had a U-turn system. You could dial it and literally watch the fork wind its way down and wind its way back up. Oh, and there's another Kona up the back there, another Syndicone. Man, you guys have got some good bikes tucked away. Right, enough of my waffling. Thank you very much, James, for sending those in. That's really cool to see. Next up is from Darren Wadden, and this one is really cool. So this is a bit of a top mod and it's a rewind at the same time. So he says, been enjoying the rewind section of the show and seeing all the bikes, especially ones still in use. So in the first few episodes, there are a lot of old Konas featured, and who doesn't love a retro steel Kona? Very true, I do as well. So this is my 1995 Kona Explosive, but approaching 23 years old. Is also a candidate for top mods because everything on it's been updated, and of course I've resprayed the frame now. That is what it used to look like back in the day. Still quite a fine specimen of a bike. And then this is what you look like when you've stripped it back. Of course, there's the original picture there with the bombers on there, and you've got the roller majig out the back there for the cable routing, and you've got those weird, they were the Sachs version of the grip shifts. They were quite good, those. But cool to see it stripped back, but even better to see it brought back to life completely in bright orange with some amazing new Kona graphics on the explosive, the race light on there. That's a really good colour, that really suits it, and it's so nice to see it up and running again as a full bike. Obviously it's a bit more modernised now, you've got modern pedals and chain and cassette, rear derailleur, pair of boo bars on there. Good stuff. Really nice to see that back in action again. Oh man, like I'm really impressed with that. It's such a good job. Well, it's a shame looking at that picture that he did manage to crack it by the drive side rear dropout. Paid a visit to my friend who owns a TIG welder, gave him a case of beer and the frame, and he sorted it out. And now it's my Monster Cross cyclocross style bike with drop bars and narrow semi-slick tyres. Bit of a journey, but the old bike's still a joy to ride. That really does make me happy that you're still riding that bike after all those years. That's pretty cool. And that's a really nice shot, by the way, that one is sort of the tunnel with the snow on the leaves. Definitely makes me want to go and ride a bike. Wicked, thank you for that. That is really cool to see, Darren. Thanks for sending those in. And like I said, if there's anything you guys want to know about, any retro-based stuff, where it's come from, maybe some old races, anything you can think of, hit us up in those comments below and we see what we can dig up for next week. This is Top Mods. This is where everyone gets to modify their bikes or just show off what you have done to yours. Could be anything. Could have been just replacing the chain and cassette after you've worn yours out, or it could be customizing something in particular on that bike. Whatever it is, we want to see it. So get your entries in to the email address at the beginning of the show, and please use the hashtag TopMods. So first up is from Gaz Thorner. Hi Dolly, I've recently bought a brand new Bird Aris AM9 and I'm loving it. We actually spoke on Instagram about a white S150 and a Nukeproof Mega 290. Yeah, I think I remember that actually, yeah. During the first round of the UK Gravity Enduro in Leithen, I suffered a couple of strikes on the crank arms and decided that I wanted to protect them. So you can get standard race face boots, and you also say they don't fit on those particular cranks. Like you, I'm a massive fan of 3M's 2228 mastic tape. Yeah, one of the best things ever invented. So I've got a tape measure and a Stanley knife out and cut some strips and made my own crank boots. Hey, that's a neat one. I'm into that. I'm gonna have to rob that because I do like crank boots, especially like carbon cranks and stuff where they can take a bit of a beating. That looks really neat as well. That's almost smaller than the official sort of boots you can get. That's a better option. Nice one, Gaz, and good choice on the bike, by the way. I've got a few friends who got those. Really nice progressive geometry on those. Next up is from Greg Travis. I've added some new forks, well, new to me. Forks are 2015 RockShox Pike with 140mm travel and 51mm offset. I added some custom decals on the forks. The original ones, by the way, were sectors and they had 46mm offset. The new forks feel so much better for me, and I also had stranded full rebuild on them. All I'm doing now is waiting on some new wheels which have the 29mm internal width. I will then go tubeless. Sorry for the additional photos. Hey, not at all, dude. That's always good to see that. Hey, the forks look really good. That looks like a completely brand new fork. Amazing. Hey, what pedals are they? They're really slimline into that. I like the way they blend in with your graphics as well. Hey, good work. Yeah, and definitely getting that set up tubeless. It's a game changer, it really is. Nice work. Okay, next one up is from Superstar Chaser. Hi Dotty, I've got some new parts for my Rune. Sunrays 11-speed 1150 cassette. Hey, that's a great way of going, basically getting all that gear range is with that cassette. Really good value for money. The Wolf Tooth Goat Link 11, yeah, that's also really good. Shimano XTR 11-speed chain. Got the 50-tooth gear envy of the SRAM Eagle, so decided to do the cheaper mod instead of converting everything to 12-speed. Replaced my XT 1142 cassette with the Sunrace 1150 and installed a Wolf Tooth Goat Link 11 to the existing XT derailleur to make it function correctly with that massive 50-tooth gear. With this setup and a new XCR chain, the bike now climbs like an XC bike. Well, it's close to that as an enduro bike can get. Hey, it's a really good mod. I've seen a lot of people using those Goat Links. It's a real cool workaround of using the same derailleur, but basically allowing it to be compatible with a bigger cassette by just moving it like an extension. Really neat bit of kit that, and I do love those Sunrace 11-speed cassettes. I think they're really cool. Yeah, so 1150, massive gear range on that. Nice. Well into that. Interesting to see as well, it looks like the bottom brackets on your Banshee Rune, you slammed back, because I know you can flip the chips the other way around. That's just nice to see. You're running the BB low, so into your cornering. Good work. Thank you for sending those in. Super cool stuff there. Love seeing it. Okay, so now it's time for Tech of the Week, and I want to talk to you about something very cool from USE Components. So USE stands for Ultimate Sports Engineering, and they're a company that hails from Britain and everything is made here. Now, back in the 90s, they used to make seat posts and they used to make suspension seat posts, so they've already got the system down for a dropper post. They just hadn't got as far as developing their own one. Now, the thing that's really cool about this is how simple it is. It's designed to be user serviceable. Of course, you can get it serviced in a shop, but it's very easy to do yourself. It's very simple on the inside. There's not a lot going on, to be honest, and it's very, very effective. So it's called the Helix, and it uses a Helix system on the inside. So that's a spiral spindle. And basically it's got a clutch system, so when a clutch is activated, the post can drop down. Obviously, you activate it using a cable operated lever. We'll talk about that lever in a minute. Now, with this Helix system, you've got infinite adjustment within the travel itself. There's two models available, 125 and 165, and they're available in 30.9 and 31.6. So they cover most bases there to suit the common bikes out there. Now, this particular system is very effective because it's mechanical. There's no sort of hidden cartridges or anything else going on the inside that could potentially have issues later on. It's simply just that Helix. And for raising the post, you've got an air valve here for putting air in there. It's got an air spring, but it's purely to raise it. And depending on the pressure you put in there, it alters how fast it returns. So it's user adjustable to your particular preferences. It's got the traditional USE style clamp on the top there. Simple, very effective, and very neat looking too. Now, the lever itself kind of reminds me of the Crank Brothers one. It's very neat. It sits under the bars on the left hand side, or in fact you could probably put it on top of the bars if you wanted to, but it's got a nice ball joint here, so you can actually twist it around and get it in that really nice position. But something I particularly like about it is the machined USE logo on the thumb lever there itself. is actually a bit of a traction pad, so there's no need for you to put anything on there to give it like extra grip. It's actually built in, so you're not going to slip when it gets muddy. So it's a very simple mechanical system that's user serviceable. Gets a thumbs up from me. And it retails in the UK for about £260. They're available now. Okay, so now it's time for bike build. Bit of a better update here because stuff really is starting to come along now. So as you can see, we've got the frame behind us, we've got the fork, we've got the headset in there. The stem that's on the bike is not what's going to go on the bike. That's just literally an old pair of bars and stem just to hold it in place for the time being. I've got some wheels which we're going to take a look at in a sec. I've got some milk it valves which are going to go in. I really believe that these are one of the better tubeless valves out there, especially for the fact you can take the valve core out and you're not going to lose any air. And it's also very good for putting sort of tyre sealant into that valve system. Really keen to get those on the bike. Of course, we've got the chainring to practice this one. We've got those DMR-Ax cranks. And let's have a look at the wheels. So these are the E1900s. They've got a 20mm front hub. We've got the boost out back on there. 25mm internal rims. Not the widest, but they're definitely going to hook up well with the tyres I have in mind for this bike. More on those tyres next week, because I'm actually going to put some tyres on it. I'm going to get these wheels on the bike and get the cranks on the bike. Make sure the headset is in place properly. I'm also going to order a bar and stem as well. I would like to know what you guys would think. I've already got in mind what I would like to put on there, but I'm definitely open for suggestions on the bar and stem front. Of course, it's a personal preference thing, so I'm going to put on there what I think is a good fit for that bike. Now, I have been told there's a packing slip for me from E13, so that means the cassette is here, which means that drivetrain is coming together. So I do need to make a phone call to Box just to make sure that they send through that new Box 1 derailleur and shifter combo, and then suddenly we're going to have most of the bike together. Brakes are something we do have to deal with though. So what brakes would you like to see on the bike? Be realistic. I was thinking something along the lines of perhaps Shimano SLX, something like that. We don't have to have crazy brakes to have really good powerful ones. Of course, on a bike like this, I'll probably look at something like a 203 rotor on the front and maybe a 180 on the rear, and maybe have an additional 203 with it, you know, for alpine trips, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm not too fussed on the brakes. There's a lot of good stuff out there. TLP obviously make great brakes. Magura make great brakes. Let us know, particularly about brakes, in those comments, and we'll pick this up after this video. So there you go, guys. That's another end of the weekly GMBN Tech Show. Hopefully you enjoyed the content on the show. Get involved in those comments and let us know what you think. For a couple more great videos, click up here for all the tech from Fort William. So Blake and Neil were sniffing around the pits and seeing what they could find. Some cool bits and pieces in there. And click down here for cleaning and lubricating your drivetrain. It's a nice, fast, efficient way of getting that done. Perfect every time. As always, click on that globe to subscribe. We've got new content every single week. And click up there as well, actually, if you want to go to our shop, where we've got loads of new stuff like new t-shirts and all the cool stuff if you want to support us and rep the brand. And of course, if you like GMBN Tech, give us a thumbs up.